what I wanted to do, or what I thought that I would be doing, was at this date, which is November 19th, 1998, if I had to predict where I would be today, I would say that I would be over in Orlando, getting ready for the game between BCC and Florida A&M as a high-ranking officer in the Bethune-Cookman College administration. I worked for Bethune-Cookman for 14 years. Bethune-Cookman sent me to the University of Florida. They paid for my education. I thought, after coming here to Hillsborough County and Tampa, negotiating on behalf of the college with Florida A&M University, that I might be the president of Bethune-Cookman College by now. Many people, not I, said that that was going to be my position. But that was not what the Lord had in store for me. He had something altogether different, something that I had not anticipated. But he delivered me. He delivered me to something that I'm comfortable with in terms of trying to be of assistance to other people. Now, the way that my assistance comes about is a little bit different. Sometimes you could even say that it's a bit awkward, because I've done some things that you probably haven't done. I have done some very bad things. Yes, I have all the accolades, the degrees, the awards. Used to have the money. Praise God that I still have my wife of 22 plus years and my family. She stuck by me after becoming accustomed to living in the best home and driving the best cars and wearing the best clothes, the Rolexes, the diamonds, and all of that. And I can remember going into the pawn shop, having to pawn those things so that we could pay the water bill, the light bill, going, getting water out of the swimming pool to flush the commode in a house that cost no less than $350,000 that was on the best hole in Pelican Bay. How did all that happen? Well, I lost touch with God. I lost touch with God because I was a young deacon. I was the youngest deacon at the Greater Friendship Baptist Church. When Reverend Bentley came and asked me, would I sit on his deacon board, I said, yeah. But you know what? I wasn't thinking about the calling. I was just thinking about the position, which was totally wrong. And you know what? It caught up with me. It caught up with me faster than I thought it would. I want to read you just a little portion from my book, just to give you a flavor of where I may have been. Many times when I read from my book, people can relate to it because we all have crossed these streams in our own way. So this is just my way, but I'm sure that you can relate. Now, most of you, I guess, were around. The setting is at my nightclub. The nightclub was on the Halifax Intercoastal Waterway. 3-acre facility, 7,000 square feet. I paid $1 million for the club. It was called the Mirage. It was a beautiful facility. As a matter of fact, part of the decorum was the color of these chairs. It had moving Venetian blinds, automatically move at the touch of a button. Out the windows, you could see boats transgressing back and forth up and down the Halifax Intercoastal Waterway. There was at least 1.5 acres behind the nightclub that when I bought it, I was planning on building condominiums, and each condominium would have its own boat slip. So I'm just trying to give you a flavor of where my mind was back during these days. So now we move forward. I bought the club in 1988, and the turn of the decade is about to come about. Things have gone pretty well for me and my family up to a certain point. One thing that you should pay attention to, the reason that I tell you about the assets that I had and what I was doing was because I want you to know that I had gotten in over my head. You see, I had a staff of 3 attorneys working for me at my law firm. I had the big house. The house notes were $2,500 a month. One car note for the 560 SEL was $1,200 a month. The station wagon was $600. My staff, I was spending probably about $20,000 plus per month. Okay, so, and I did not think correctly. My reasoning was clouded. So I made some serious mistakes. I was greedy. You see? And now I'm not the only one that's been greedy too now. But see, I use myself as an example. I don't mind being the example because I have been involuntarily placed here. I have no choice but to stand here and tell you what happened. And the reason is to give you inspiration, to let you know that you can go so much farther if you're careful. And don't get hung up with the devil. Because see, I know the devil. I met him. And he wouldn't leave. When I said, okay, that's enough, I had enough. Can you, there's the door. He wouldn't go. He said, I'm going to take you with me. But you know what? I didn't go either. Now let me tell you, I'm going to tell you how I stayed in a minute. Okay, I want you just to hear just a bit of this. Because see, a lot of people, when they see the book and they see a real life story about what an attorney should not do, I've really changed that. It's a real life story about what a person should not do. It applies to everybody. I don't care what your walk of life may be. And I read, maroon and white streamers hung from the ceiling of the Mirage, and layers of confetti covered the gloss parquet dance floor, as well as the maroon carpeting and the white tablecloth dinner tables. About 1,000 people were jammed elbow to elbow for New Year's Eve. Tuxedos and evening gowns were the attire of choice. I stood 8 feet above the crowd on a stage, dressed in black tails, a white shirt, and a black bow tie. A colorful party hat was cocked to the side of my head. I gazed down at Sandra, looking sexy in a sequin and lace black gown, seated at a table with 10 close friends. She looked nervous and mouthed the words to me, "You can do this." In 7 minutes, a new decade would start. The 1980s had begun with so much promise for me. My children were born. I received my law degree and my MBA. I interned for the Central Intelligence Agency, moved up quickly at Bethune-Cookman College, acquired our dream home, and bought more material possessions than I had ever dreamed possible. But my future looked bleak. as I braced for 1990 to begin. Have mercy. As I stood watching the revelry, I wanted to run and hide where no one could find me. This club felt like two strong hands wrapped around my neck, squeezing tightly. Buying the place had been a dreadful mistake. I thought, recalling the Mirage's checking account that was $60,000 overdrawn and growing daily. Pips 2 was not working out as I had hoped for. Pause for a moment. Gladys Knight and the Pips, two of the Pips have become my business partners. And they wanted to invest in the nightclub, and we were going to make the nightclub similar to a Las Vegas style place. And they had moved to Orlando back during that time, and they had started an ice cream operation. So they would come back and forth from Orlando to Daytona to visit with me, and they were so attracted to the club that they were going to invest. Now, so I'm going to move to what happened next, and then I'll start filling in some of the blanks for it. The steel guardrail was slippery from the gusty rain. I wrapped my left arm around an antique-style light post to keep my balance on the edge of the high-rise bridge 500 feet above the Halifax River. From my perch, I could see the neon sign on the building that had once been my Mirage nightclub. The new sign said Billy Bob's, a country western restaurant and bar, which had attracted big crowds ever since it opened. As I stared into the nighttime sky, the rain pelting my face, I found it fittingly ironic. Not long ago, I was pulling up to the Mirage in my big Benz, handing out cash and partying nonstop. Tonight, I parked near the Port Orange Bridge in a 6-year-old Buick Century. The Benzes had been repossessed, and climbed onto the guard railing to commit suicide. So in other words, the message is, I went from the top to the bottom. But I want you to know the way that I was able to get back up. The way that I was able to get back up was to tell the truth. First of all, I had to take a good, strong look at myself. Now, what I had done, y'all, is that I had signed the president's name on a loan instrument that he had no knowledge of and that he knew nothing about. Greed had overtook my soul. Now, as a lawyer, and as a good lawyer, in terms of strategy, I knew the way to get out of it. The way to get out of what I had done by me and my partner, which was Art's childhood friend. You see the way things work? His childhood friend and I, we were doing construction for Bethune-Cookman. I was in charge of all of the construction for the college. The United States Congress had given to the college $15 million to construct the Mary McLeod Bethune Fine Arts Center. When that happened in the mid-1980s, that's how I started making a lot of money. Okay, that'll help you fill in the blanks on. I don't want you to think I stole to get there. I didn't do that. I thought that I would always make $300,000 and $400,000 a year. But that's what I'm saying. I made a serious mistake. I made an error in judgment. See, it's better to ride around in like I'm riding around now in and be happy than to ride around. I'm here to tell you, because I've seen it. I've been to the White House. I mean, when I worked for the CIA, I've done reports for President Reagan, and so I've had the opportunity to see a lot of different things. In my book, I have letters from the Central Intelligence Agency that talk about my work. I have letters from the FBI that talk about my work. Because people would not tend to believe some of the things I'm saying. Anyway, back to the point. See, what messed me up was greed, number one. Number two, well, if this check had cleared, this is a check, and I always carry, I keep this check with me, okay? This check is for $350,000. Okay, it's not worth the paper it's written on. You don't want it. If I drop this, it won't do you any good. You know, it's only for exhibiting purposes. But just think if it had cleared, everybody. Just think if this check had cleared. See, this is the check that Bill, my friend, that was doing construction work with me, we went to the bank, told the bank that the college owed Bill $350,000. So the bank agreed to loan Bill $250,000 because the bank thought that it would receive $350,000 within 30 days. So what I did, ladies and gentlemen, was I lied to the bank and said, yes, everything that Bill told you was true, and you will have your money within 30 days. Now, the reason I did that is because I actually thought we would have the money within 30 days. Now, if this check had cleared, y'all, I probably would be still drinking liquor, drinking Cavassier, snorting cocaine. See, if this check had cleared, I probably would have still been a miserable person or dead. You can say that again. Or dead. Because I really believe that's where I was headed. And so I'm glad that this check didn't clear. Now when this check bounced, let me tell you what happened. First of all, the FBI came. And you know, it's something else. You know, you get so used to looking at things on TV and you know, as human beings, we love to make assumptions, like we know what's going to happen, right? And so I thought as a lawyer, I knew the way the FBI would come and get you and search your house and all that kind of stuff. They didn't even do that, y'all. The man called me on the telephone. He didn't even come to Daytona. He handled everything by telephone. He made me come and turn myself in. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the kind of things that you get used to on television and just like I'm telling you about the CIA, the things that you see are a little bit different from real life in certain circumstances. Now, had I not shown up, you know what I mean? Then they would have easily come and gotten me. So I knew to go, okay? But it was the strangest thing because he called me and he had a very nice, mild-mannered voice, and he asked me about the bank loan, and I tried to tell him that everything was going to be all right. And at that time, my world, as I knew it, started to fall apart. So what I did, I developed a strategy. I used my education. I used my training as an attorney. I said, okay, what I'll do is I'll lie on Dr. Brunson. I will say that Dr. Brunson gave me permission to sign his name on those bank papers, and that he knew everything about what Bill and I were doing. Now, I had people in the community coming to me saying, you know Dr. Brunson knew about it, you know it. They were trying to urge me to lie, or at least say what would fit. You see what I'm saying? Because didn't anybody believe that you had me and Bill being able to go into banks and get that kind of money? They just didn't believe it. They said, now the president of Bethune-Cookman, yeah, sure, he can get it, but not his lawyer and some general contractor. And I had to struggle. I had to struggle. I lost so many sleepless nights, tossing and turning back and forth, looking at my wife and my kids and calling my mother, just trying to figure out what to do. But one day, something came to me. All the years of going to Sunday school and being in church paid off. Because a scripture came to me that says, what profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? And I understood what that meant. You know, that became crystal, the words became clear to me. And that meant telling the truth about what happened. Now, Bill came to Tampa, Florida. Bill bought interest in a hotel on Dale Mabry, okay? And so Bill thought that I was going to lie on Dr. Brunson and some other people. And he was almost right. But I didn't do that. I told it like it was. I told that I signed the president's name, and I ended up going to prison. I ended up going to prison for 10 months in federal prison. I lost everything that I had, the house that you heard about, the garage, the cars, everything but what was the most important thing. I didn't lose that. And that was my wife, my family, my children, and my health. As a matter of fact, I got in better health, because when I went in, even though inside, you know, they're getting high in there too, and they drinking in there too. But I said, I'm not going to be a part of that. And ever since then, I don't drink beer. I don't drink any type of wine, champagne, nothing. Because see, I have a problem. You might not have a problem. I'm not saying don't do this or don't do this. That's not my message. My message is I know what's right for me, and I want you to learn what's right for you. Because we are all human beings, and we're all different too, in our own ways. So thank God I was able to discover what makes me tick, what makes me feel good about myself. And that's being able to stand firm and being able to come to you and ask you to, first of all, to continue with your education. Because as Art said during the introduction, if I didn't have my education, I don't know where I would be right now. You know, because people tend to turn their back on you when you do the wrong thing. And they have a right to, too. I'm not saying people are wrong by doing that, because I did something that was very bad. Okay? So I didn't deserve some of the friendships that I thought that I should have had at that time. So, but at the same time, see, when things happen to you, sometimes you can't readily recognize what's going on. And for a long time, I thought it was a good thing, when really it turned out to be something bad. And also, when I thought that the money that Bill Williams was giving to me was going to help me to continue to live, it really helped me to get buried further in the hole. But since that time, you know, I lost everything. One thing that I wanted to do was that I wanted to come back. I wanted to come back to Central Florida. I wanted to be able to come back to this place like Tampa, Florida, and look people in the eye that I let down. And first of all, apologize for my shortcomings, my greediness, my abuse of alcohol, abuse of drugs. You know, as a person that made history in the state of Florida, to be the first person to get the law degree and MBA simultaneously from the University of Florida, to end up in prison, it hurts the whole community. Because a lot of us, a lot of you, won't get certain opportunities when you have people wasting them away. And see, I wasted things, so now I'm in the catch-up mode. And the best way to catch up is to help other people. And thank you very much. I am so dedicated to the mission that I am trying my best to be as effective with it as I possibly can be. The only way that what we're doing right now will work is for you to avoid those situations that you may not readily see. And if you get involved in it, or your family members, you can come back. In closing, I just want to tell you what happened to my son. My son is 24 years old. One of my sons, I have two. His name is Gregory. Gregory was riding with a friend out in Texas. He was asleep. He was stopped by a state patrol officer. Now listen to this. I just want you to listen to this because I know you're going to think one thing. In the car, in the panels, $2 million worth of cocaine. $2 million. My son got out and told the police the truth. He said that the reason that they had gone from Oklahoma City to Texas, Houston, was for a friend's wedding. The driver of the car said that they were down there for several days, that they had been partying. The driver didn't want the police to think that they had gone down and come right back. You know, that's where they couried money and drugs, right? My son didn't know anything about it, y'all. And I'm telling you, this is the truth. It's in the book. $2 million worth of cocaine. You know what happened to him? He called me from the jail. I called the police officer that arrested him. Told him that a little bit about my problems and that I had gotten in trouble. And I asked him what happened with my son. He told me that he believed what my son told him. I told him, thank you, sir. Okay? It ended up, he said that I'm going to put this in the report. He did that. And my son was never prosecuted. Now because he didn't, I'm serious, he did not know. He was not involved in the transaction. What he was kind of like his daddy. I guess it runs in the family. It's just being kind of dumb or naive to certain situations. You know what I'm saying? But he had gotten involved in it. He could have easily have been prosecuted for it, and more than likely he could have maybe even been convicted of it. But because he did what? Told the truth. And that's what I'm trying to do, is tell the truth, because see, the truth will set you free. Whether you want to believe it or not, the truth will let you be able to stand firm. And see, I don't have to look around anymore. I don't have to worry about who I might see here at Bruce the Technical that knows me if I wasn't singing the right tune. See what I'm saying? And it's a blessing. It's a blessing. Now, it may have not been what Anderson Hill expected it to be on today's date, but it's what I am supposed to do. And I hope And I pray, and I urge you, first of all, to treat other people kind. You know, because we all have our problems. You know, it's easy. I could have come in here and told you a whole different thing. I could have talked about going to the University of Florida, going through the MBA JD program, and you can do it too. Something like that. And smile. I could have done that. Don't think I couldn't do it. But that would, I want something to burn in you. I want something to, where you can go and maybe go to somebody else and help them if you can. And I also want you to complete your education. I think that I talked a little bit with some of the administrators. I think that you're in some fine programs. I think that you have a great opportunity, and I think that you can go very far and help other people to go farther. So I commend each and every one of you for taking out your time and listening to me. I hope that you will remember the book in terms of just maybe passing the message on, because what I want to do, my main objective, is to prevent somebody from going down the same road that I did. That's my bottom line message, and that's what it's all about. And God bless each and every one of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we certainly thank you. We thank the message from you. Of course, I've been with you a number of years, and I've heard you give this here to CEOs, individuals in juvenile justice, everywhere. And I watched it 3 years ago when it hurt you so much to stand up in front of them and tell them the truth. It's hard to tell people that you've fallen. But each time he told the story, I saw him get stronger. Sharing, and it's just a pleasure being here at this multicultural educational center. That's beautiful. It's just so many beautiful faces. Yes. I want to introduce an individual out here, and might be a couple more. This is an opportunity for you. See, we're about many things today. Not only bringing in a motivational message, but I like for a good friend, an entrepreneur, a business person, a young lady by the name of Jackie Parker, just to stand up for a minute here. She is with an organization called Prepaid Legal. You have an opportunity after this is over to please come up and talk to her and let her give you a card and let her tell you about the opportunity that she has twofold. As far as legalities are concerned, she can help you with, and also the business side of it. There again, we'd like to thank this administration. We'd like to thank Doug Robinson for being there for us, inviting us. We'd love to come back again if you'd love to have us. So what we're going to do is that we do have some books. If you care to get a book here today, fine. We also have some literature right here. We'd like to thank you so much. I know you guys have other things you have to do, but come on up. Jackie, if you mind, come on up here with Anderson also too, where the individuals can shake your hand and know what you're about. We'd love to have an opportunity to meet you. So, without further ado, this particular meeting is over. Thank you very much.
It was good. That was excellent. I'm going to buy his book.
Is that your friend? This is your friend?
Friends at art.
Art. What's his last name? What's Art last name?
Finley. Yeah.
Always tell when you get it. Yeah. Shirley had that on. Yeah, I had to speak on it. Yeah.
How you doing?
I'll make you.
I'll have it. I'm gonna have him make copies. You know where it's at? Make sure it's in there.
She got her card on the money.
How did y'all like it?
Oh, I woo, he touched my heart. But he wants you to make some copies of these bits of class, so I have one. I'm in Miss Williams HSC class.
Make the copies, Mr. Roberts.
Okay.
Yes, sir, ma'am.
A little bit more. Better with me. Give me the card. I can meet you here.
When you get those copies made, we can pick it up at your office? Okay.
I just, and you know what I drove?
Hey now.
How you doing today? Good, good. I hope you enjoy it. Here's my card. If you'd like to have a food. I thought you would have left.
Miss Kelly.
I saw you there.
Nice to meet you, Miss Kelly.
If you'd like to get a book, please get in touch with me. I'll bring it back.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It'll be just get it ready. I'll get it. Miss Kelly, my pleasure. You get it from me? Or you can call me. See, this is the autograph for you. I'll give you an autograph. There's poetry in here. This is the and we have a poet, Gene Maxwell, from that same key, Jewel. Yeah. Oh, that's what individuals are doing because they got it's quite a gap. So this is what each chapter is a poetry. So it's pretty good back here. And so it's done. This is you going to give me the photo and I'll bring it. You know, I had a big deal. Yeah. Are you going I don't like to go to Tallahassee. Yeah, we got that orange and blue and olive. It can really get, from the highest to Florida State, probably the biggest one. You too. Oh, yeah. What's your name? Used to be. I have four and just old who I am now. So I used to have, I got a board now. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. And what's your name? Okay. All right, how are you? Yes, sir, Mr. Rich. Nice to meet you. Myself. Mr. Billy, you're married?
It's amazing how they, you can always tell when the students are motivated, they don't leave.
So we just
That's a little position. A lot of these things happen. They got corn, they got famous quote. Yeah, oh yeah.
There's so many different things.
Yeah, that's what absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it. Appreciate it. How you doing, man? I'm not sure. Okay, nice to meet you, Mr. Richard.
You can check it out. How you doing, sir? Say, let's go. That was good. Hey, that was they was yeah.
If you sit it there,
It's nice to meet you.
go ahead and shipping prices on. All you have to do is just take this class.
As always,
Bring the book.
just touch my soul.
All right? Because I keep the case with
Yes.
my pleasure. I hope you
Let's go.
you really
Yes. I would love to talk. I really would.
I told my starter to come up here on my head. He said, yeah, that would have been really good.
Oh, really? No, but he can come back. He can, it's not over. Yeah, and he tried to tell me. And see, a lot of times, unfortunately,
lives in Orlando.
we don't listen.
That's what he said.
Thank you so much.
It was your fault.
That's right. You did all you could. My mama did too. See, that's a cool story. Next time I'm gonna tell the mama part. See, I always tell it different. I don't never say the same thing.
I want you to tell about it.
That's what I know was in here.